That's defamation. Would you want to sleep next to a bedwetter? Run through the airport, waste no time. Way to go, McCallister family. Can we sue the police? Kevin! I'm Mark Breyer, the husband and wife law team, a real trial lawyer. I actually take case to trial, holding people accountable in civil court. And I thought today, let's check out Home Alone, right? Let's see all the things, the possible losses, what could be done from it. Listen to this. I looked at the stats. All right, I didn't look at the stats, but my people looked at the stats. We got so many people that are commenting and liking and giving us all this feedback in these videos, and 98.2% of you are not subscribed. Like, what is that? So go ahead and hit subscribe right now, and then let's get into this Home Alone. Let's have some fun together. First scene, we're gonna check out Home Alone. 'Tis the season for Home Alone. Let's go.
Are your parents here?
My parents have been parents.
All right.
Sorry.
So if you haven't seen this movie, shame on you.
Yeah.
This is a police officer. No, it's not. This is Joe Pesci's character pretending to be a police officer.
Probably a fancy orphanage.
So, what about walking into someone's home when you don't have permission to go home? Is it a lawsuit? You know it's a crime because you impersonate a police officer. Is it a lawsuit? Yeah, it's a lawsuit. That's trespass. Someone can't come onto your property without permission. Now, hold up. What if someone just comes and knocks on your door and says, hey, I got to sell you something? Aren't they trespassing? No, because you're not in the house. You didn't come into the house under false pretenses. Here's the problem with that lawsuit. Someone comes in your house to pretend to be a cop. Can you sue them? Yes. The problem in a civil lawsuit is in a crime, you're right there. Hey, you committed a crime. Boom, you're done. You got some trouble now. You have to have damages. What damages were done right there? What is your lawsuit for? It would cost you more to file the lawsuit than whatever you get from that lawsuit, because the problem is no damage was done.
Bombs away!
A kid just throws a duffel bag on someone's feet. That someone is Joe Pesci's character. He isn't even supposed to be there. He's there as a trespasser. He's pretending to be a cop. He's not a cop. Can Joe Pesci's character sue the kid for hitting him? Probably not. In most states, you are a trespasser when you're in someone else's house without permission under false pretenses. So generally, if you get hurt, now, if that kid had purposely hit him in the face and badly hurt him, even though he's a trespasser, there's a small little sliver of way you could actually sue. But that kid just threw something down the stairs, landed on his foot, and you're a trespasser there under false pretenses. In spite of what you've heard on the internet about all these crazy lawsuits people won, they're not true. Follow them along. When you're a trespasser, you have almost no protection in someone's home or building. No lawsuit.
You have to sleep on the hide-a-bed with Fuller. If he has something to drink, he's gonna wet the bed.
In this next scene, we're making the hero of Home Alone sleep next to a bedwetter.
I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass.
What about his rights to sue? Isn't that wrong? Would you want to sleep next to a bedwetter? If someone made you do it, wouldn't you have the... No, you don't have the right to sue. Here's the thing. Would it be a battery? I mean, if the kid was sleeping on Macaulay Culkin's character, maybe we'd have something there. I just don't like his chances of a successful lawsuit because he's next to a bedwetter. That may suck to wake up next to another kid when you're a kid and they wet the bed, but that's not a lawsuit, right? There's no damages to that. You know, in all honesty, what were they supposed to do? The house was full.
You ever heard of the South Bend shovel slam? That's him.
So in this next scene, we have the older brother lying to our hero about the next door neighbor.
Back in '58, murdered his whole family and half the people on his block.
Does the next door neighbor have a lawsuit? Yeah, that's defamation. You can't just spread lies about something. There's a small problem. Not a lot of damages, number one, because the fact that a couple kids in the neighborhood lied about you, it didn't actually harm you, so you got a problem. And number two, in all honesty, the actions of a minor, you're held to the reasonable actions, not of an adult, but of a minor. So a 12-year-old lying about a neighbor being a scary guy, that's probably not so unreasonable for a 12-year-old to lie to their little brother. So I'm gonna go with no lawsuit here, but man, that's some fun stuff. In this next scene, pizza driver loses control, icy driveway, boom, knocks into some property. I mean, in all honesty, is there even a lawsuit here? Well, the answer is, it depends on how much damage was done. So first of all, believe it or not, you are not automatically liable if the car you're driving ruins some property. It's not automatic. You have to have been negligent. This pizza driver may argue that, yo, they didn't salt their driveway. I didn't know it was gonna be that icy. This is not really on me, it's really on the homeowner. And you may get to trial on that. Now, here's why you're probably gonna lose. Because the roads are icy, and the driveway is icy, and the conditions are icy. If you drive like an idiot and you run into someone's property, it is almost always your fault. And even if you can make a claim to the contrary, you are probably gonna lose. In this next scene, the pizza driver walks in with a stack of pizzas for $122.50. What? I think there may have been inflation, y'all. $122.50. I think I got 2 pizzas during the last set of games I was watching, and it was $122.50. But I did get some breadsticks, so it all makes sense. In this next scene, Kevin's just trying to defend himself against his mean older brother. No one notices that.
Did anyone order me a plain cheese?
If you want any, somebody's gonna have to barf it all up, because it's gone.
Yo, as the youngest brother in the family, let me tell you something. Let's stick up for the younger kids who can't stick up for themselves more. But in this next scene, mayhem ensues when the little brother tries to defend himself. Some stuff gets spilled. Everyone turns on the little brother.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
He asks a couple questions. Number one, what are the rights of Macaulay Culkin's, our hero's character? And what about everyone else who had all that damage done? Can they sue Kevin? Because look at all the problems he caused, even though he didn't actually spill on their passports, but stuff got spilled. He didn't actually throw things away, but stuff got thrown away, and he started it. Part number one. Man, it's hard being the younger brother. I'm telling you, it's hard times. So here's the thing. When it comes to him, could he sue them for them being mean to him? No, you actually don't have a lawsuit just because the people in your family and other siblings say mean things to you. You can go, well, what if they lie? Defamation requires damages. You got a problem. Now, what about this? In this scene, stuff gets spilled on. Can you sue the person who starts the chain of events? This is a question from law school called proximate cause. Direct cause is, I take your passport, boom, I rip it up, I throw it away. Can you sue me? Yeah, I just destroyed your property. Whatever the impact is from me ripping up your passport intentionally, you got it. If I negligently destroy your passport, you put a passport here, I take it, I look at it, I'm not paying attention, I throw it in the shredder. You don't get to go on that amazing trip you're gonna go on. You may be able to sue me because I negligently ruined your passport. But what if you give me your passport and you trust me and I put it somewhere that I shouldn't put it, and someone else shreds it? I didn't shred your passport. Yes, but I was the proximate cause. So I didn't do it, but I'm the one who negligently created the situation where someone else did it. So in this scene, the passports get ruined, and Kevin's the one who started it. Sue little Kevin. You can't really sue little Kevin because Kevin's really young and he can't really be sued, and he only has to act as a reasonable kid of his own age can act. But yes, you can be responsible for things you created even if you didn't directly do them. Now we got a scene where a branch falls on the electrical wires. Can't we sue the electric company for allowing that to happen? No, you can't sue the electric company because branches fall. Why? Isn't it their job to provide electricity? Yes, but that is actually what's called, believe it or not in the law, an act of God. So they didn't actually do anything wrong.
What if they take like an excessively long time?
Generally speaking, we're liable for our own negligence. So if an electric company takes too long to get your power fixed, can you sue the electric company? In many states, they're gonna have some sort of immunity or a statute that gives them immunity. Basically, the laws we're allowed to use are either from old laws called case law, precedent, or from laws that are written. And in order to protect these power companies, because otherwise they'd probably get sued all the time, I suspect a lot of states, particularly in colder climates, do things to protect them from lawsuits. However, in the biggest scope of things, unless they're protected, they're not required to always keep electricity running because that's impossible. You would generally have to act in a way that is reasonable if your state doesn't protect them in some way, so they can pretty much get to you when they get to you. Here's another problem. And when you want to sue the electric company, you have to prove your damages. What happens if someone is in the house, they can't take care of themselves, and they die because you took 4 weeks to do a repair that should have taken 4 minutes? If there's no protection, now you have something. We have something in Arizona where people die, and they die because the heat gets so high and their air conditioning isn't fixed. Even though it could have been fixed, should have been fixed, the person called for help repeatedly, but they had no money and they had no family, they had no way to protect themselves, and they die of heat stroke when it was totally avoidable. And we do see lawsuits as a result of that because there isn't protection for the HVAC companies that make a promise to do repairs they don't, in spite of them being called and told that someone's there in frail health and has no ability to protect themselves. So it is possible if there's not a statute, and you have to be able to prove the damages are caused by the negligence, not by the condition. In plain English, if someone freezes to death, but they might have frozen to death anyway because they're in a really cold climate and they have the ability to protect themselves and somehow didn't have enough jackets or whatever to keep warm, you have to prove that the death was caused by the unnecessary, unreasonable delay. How about in the scene where instead of the parents making sure they have enough kids, they have a kid make sure they have enough kids? Can't we sue the parents here? First of all, who's bringing the lawsuit? Kevin's character, the hero of our thing, has to bring the lawsuit because you negligently assign someone. Now here's the thing, that's actually a lawsuit when it comes to companies. So the idea is negligent training. Ultimately though, it's not about the specific action. I'm not suing you in this case because of how you did it wrong. I'm suing you because it was done negligently and it was your responsibility. Parents are responsible to not leave their kids at home. Whatever reasons they do it, if it was negligent, in theory now you got something. However, little kids probably are gonna have trouble suing their parents, but now look at everything that happens to this kid. Where is his lawsuit? I'm just gonna say this. I know this is not exactly real life, but if you leave your kid at home and something bad happens, that kid could actually sue you, and there might be coverage under an insurance policy. Probably not. Why? Because insurance policies generally don't protect you from inter-family negligence. So your homeowner's policy covers you if you're negligent, hurts like the neighbor's kid. But if you're negligent, hurts your own kid, that negligence is usually not covered by the policy. So not a lot comes from suing your parents for leaving you at home because you had someone do the wrong head count.
There's no way on earth we're gonna make this plane. It leaves in 45 minutes.
Think positive, Frank.
You be positive. I'll be realistic.
All right, two things. Number one, I'm gonna admit something here. My optimism is so optimistic that optimistic people see me as optimistic, and my optimism is both a good thing, but it actually become a problem because I always think things are gonna work out, and I have to be aware. I have to recognize this may not be fully likely, even though I know it's gonna happen in my mind. But when I repeatedly find people going, I'm not negative, I'm a realist. All you people who say that, you say that a lot, you're negative. That's what you are. So just own it. Just go, I'm a pessimist, I'm negative, because that's what people, I'm a realist. No, you're not. Reality is not constrained to bad things happening. Bad things can happen. So number one, all you people out there going, I'm the realist. You're not the realist. Stay out of my way while I go do things that are amazing while you call yourself a realist. The reality is my optimism can help win the day. That's number one. Number two, the McCallister family did it perfectly in this movie. Perfectly. Because if you don't miss a flight every once in a while, you spend too much time sitting in airports. These people show up 3 hours in advance. If you miss that flight, you'll get on a flight 3 hours later. I know it doesn't work that easily. I know there's a lot of costs that could be associated with it, but you're giving up days of your life over the course of your life to sit in a damn airport. Do it like the McCallisters and boom, go from your door to the travel, how you get there, run through the airport, waste no time. Way to go, McCallister family. You know, other than leaving your kid behind. We got a scene with a whole family running through the airport, getting to the gate, going, can we get on? Yeah, take any seat.
Did we miss the flight? No, you just made it.
Yeah! Come on, man. All right, let's talk about some of the things. First of all, the days before TSA. Listen, to all you TSA workers, thank you for keeping us safe. I'm a big fan of safety, but don't we miss the days where you could go to the gate when someone got off, not just to the airport, to their gate. They come out of the plane, you're waiting there for them. You could get to everything faster. That's number one. Number two, never. So this scene is a lie. It is a lie. There has never been a time, basically, that once that door is closed, they're going to reopen the door. It's got something to do with pay or something else is going on. But anyway, that door is closed, you missed out. But number three, can't the McCallister family sue the airline for just letting them run on and not even checking to make sure? If they had just stopped and said, all right, let me see who we got here and make sure they figure out Kevin's at home, then can't we? No. They are not a proximate cause and they have no legal duty. In plain English, one, they weren't the real cause. Whatever role they played in Kevin being forgotten and left at home, that was such a minor distant impact to what happened that you don't have it. But beyond that, they have no duty. You can't sue me because I caused something bad to happen if I don't owe you any legal duty or any legal obligation. The airline owes nothing to your family to make sure you don't leave a kid at home. So remember that this Christmas, when you're going to leave your kid at home, it's on you. Unless it's on someone else. But it's not on the airline for not making sure you brought your kids. It could be a million reasons you didn't bring your kids. Like you didn't want the kid there anyway.
That's real crystal. Put them in your purse.
They're in first class. Aren't they allowed to take the real crystal salt and pepper shakers? No. Can the airline sue them? Yes. Is the airline going to sue them? No. Well, I don't care how nice of the stuff they gave you in first class, the cost of what they gave you. The cost of filing the lawsuit would be more than they would get back from getting the little salt and pepper shakers. And I don't think they gave you real crystal in the salt and pepper shaker. But anyway, you probably could get sued because in fact you did steal. And if you steal from me, I can sue you. You owe me my money back. But I don't like the chances here. So now we got Kevin, who finds a BB gun. He's got firecrackers going. And what about parental liability? If someone gets hurt because you allowed your, yes, you as a parent are responsible in most states for what your kid does. And if you allow your kid to have access to a weapon and that kid hurts somebody, you are also responsible, not just your little kid, you are responsible for what you negligently allow your child to have access to and what they do with that. It wasn't just the child's actions here. You were independently negligent allowing the kid to get a hold of the BB gun, which he used to shoot someone he shouldn't have shot. So now we got the famous Kevin scream from the mom, who sounded nothing like what I just sounded. Kevin! One of the key moments of the whole movie. And then right after that, we got Kevin at home sliding down the stairs and somehow allegedly magically making out. But I'm going to tell you something. You can't see Sean. Sean's behind the camera here. And Sean said it has always bugged him that you could go straight down the stairs and somehow angle over and make it out the door. It's not possible. I'm going to tell you something when you see this. Sean's wrong. Sean doesn't understand that those of us who spent enough time sledding know how to use our body weight to maneuver ourselves and could absolutely get out the door. Sean is just not as good of a sledder as I am and you probably are. So for those that are bothered by the scene, you're amateur sledders. What do you think, Sean?
Hey, I could be wrong. You're probably right.
Man, just trying to create problems. This movie's realistic. I don't understand why people try to make... This is basically an autobiographical, factual account of a kid being left home alone. This is real. It's real. This actually happened. I remember I read the stories.
I've also never tobogganed down a wooden staircase, or otherwise I wouldn't be alive right now.
No, it's never too late.
Killed me.
Oh, yeah. You can't get caught.
Right.
You got to do it when you're home alone. So here's the part of the movie where they get to Paris, they call the local police, they say, we got a kid home alone. The police don't even care. They don't do their job. We could all agree that if the police get called and there's a child this young at home alone, that they ought to go get up, knock on the door, take whatever measures they can reasonably take to secure that kid, make sure the kid's safe, right? They don't do it. They don't do their job. So we sue the cops. No, man, listen, you got a problem. First of all, police have two kinds of immunity, full immunity and qualified immunity. In this case, they may have one or both. It totally depends on your state and the way the laws are written. So you have a problem there. In theory, if the police are not granted immunity from this, can you just say they were negligent? Do the police owe a duty to the kid in the house that is not their kid? They did not create the situation. Now, hold on before you go, the police are supposed to do it. That's their job. Maybe. However, do we want police held accountable for the things they try to stop or don't try to stop but can't stop, but they didn't even create? And this is where it gets really complicated, because no one will be a police officer if you can sue them and they lose everything because of things that they didn't create and cannot stop. We would put cities out of business, bankrupt cities, if everything bad that happened in their city, we were able to successfully sue them for something the police couldn't stop. However, and this is where the line is drawn, you knew there was a risk here, you did nothing. There is a chance there is a lawsuit here. Now here's the problem, and I don't want to ruin the movie. It's a spoiler alert right now, so hang on tight. This is your chance. Skip past it. I'm going to tell you something. Kevin lives. Kevin does not die in Home Alone.
No way!
And therefore, the damages may be limited, although this may have screwed with him a little bit, maybe, or maybe it empowered him and he became the best person he could ever be as a result, because, hard times create great people. But in any event, we got Kevin left at home alone. He could have been saved if the police just do their job. Could you potentially sue them? If we ignore immunity and we look at this as the fact that all they have to do is a very simple job, you could have a lawsuit against the police. Mom and dad arguing about what to do with a kid home alone in the Chicagoland area. What do we do about it? Mom's like, I'm staying here, I'm going. Dad's like, let's go get a nap. I consider this one of the most realistic scenes in the entire movie. I'm just wondering, what do you think? I mean, in this scene, when Mom's like, I'm just going to sit here in the airport even though there's no seats left, is that what you should do if you really can't get there? Or is it, let's get some rest, we'll figure it out, he's in the house safely, we can't think straight until we get somewhere? Who's right here, the mom or the dad? And in all honesty, this is what the kid gets for not waking up on time anyway, right? So now we got Kevin home alone, climbing a shelving unit breaks, people can get hurt. Who's responsible? That's actually interesting. You don't expect anyone to climb a shelving unit. So generally, is that your fault if someone climbs a shelving unit when they shouldn't? Generally, no. However, this could be an attractive nuisance. An attractive nuisance is where you create something you know will attract kids who can't handle themselves and protect themselves, and you didn't protect them from it. So depending on whether you look at the shelving unit as basically screaming to a kid, climb me, climb me, climb me, and you know it, and you don't do anything about it. Here's a more classic example of an attractive nuisance. You put a big pool in your backyard, but you don't fence the pool. A neighbor's kid, not your kid, comes into the pool and jumps in, can't swim. God forbid this happens, something bad happens, and they sue you. Yes, you created something you know is going to draw a kid, and you didn't protect that. So if you do something that you know will draw danger, even if you didn't want it to be dangerous and it's not your family, your kid, you can be responsible. Same concept here. People break in to your house. They break everything in your house.
You know you're one of the great cat burglars of the world, Mark. You think you could keep it down a little in there, huh?
Are you protected? If you have homeowners insurance, whether they stole your stuff or broke your stuff, if you have the full range of coverage, you are probably protected from the damage that was done by somebody else. And if someone who's really wealthy is the person who breaks into your house, whether you have insurance or not, you can get it from them. Yeah, they may be in prison, but you can go get after them. Let's say the police don't have enough evidence to prove that the person did it beyond a reasonable doubt, but you could prove it more likely than not. You can go to civil court, bring that claim, and hold them accountable for what they did. Man, that scary look from the known shovel killer of South Bend. Of course he has to run. What's he supposed to do? Now you're getting chased by the employee. Across the street, bad things may happen. Now we're about to chase the kid for stealing a toothbrush. Yo, a lot of bad things can happen. People go running through a park. What's going to happen? Why is he being chased? Can we sue the police for chasing this poor little kid who's just trying to get a toothbrush to avoid tooth decay? Oh, this is the advantage of being a child. You might be able to successfully do this, and the grown man chasing you is not going to be able to successfully follow. Man down! Man down! So here's the funny thing. Obviously, it's a joke. And so when you have a scene where an officer is chasing a little kid for stealing a toothbrush, he didn't even know what he stole, chasing a shoplifter. What if something bad happens? Can you sue the police? You can. You usually won't win. The police are doing their job. And chasing on foot in particular, you're not going to win. You know where it becomes a real lawsuit? When the police chase a shoplifter in a vehicle, because this is not the movies. And when two vehicles, one that's being chased by the police and one police car, or many police officers doing the chasing, go 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 miles an hour on a regular street, bad things happen to the totally innocent people. And we don't want totally innocent people being badly hurt or killed because you wanted to get your man, law and order, over a shoplifter. I don't want innocent people getting hurt because you didn't like the fact that someone ran away from you over a speeding ticket or shoplifting. So yes, if you engage in high-speed chases to show that law and order comes first, badly hurting innocent people, which of course is going to happen at high speeds that are on regular roads that are totally avoidable. So if someone got hurt here, you might be able to hold the police officer accountable, but chasing on foot, totally different than doing that same thing in a car. So now we got Kevin creatively using a movie to not be seen home alone by the pizza guy.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
But now he starts shooting at the pizza guy. He's not actually shooting. The pizza guy thinks he's shooting. Pizza guy goes running. What if pizza guy gets hurt? Were you negligent for doing that? Yes! If you make someone think they're being shot at and they get hurt, you're responsible for their physical injury. You might be responsible for an intentional infliction of emotional distress, for a negligent infliction of emotional distress of a family member. So you got all kinds of problems with one big exception. Let's say Kevin's 8. An 8-year-old only has to act as a reasonable 8-year-old. And reasonable 8-year-olds may, in fact, do something like that if they could figure it out. But if you do it, you got a problem. Yeah, you start making people think they got shot at and they run away and get hurt as a result. You think that's funny? That may be funny to you. You're probably going to be held responsible for everything because probably not a lot of people are going to forgive you for that lack of good humor. Oh, the good old days where we didn't use seatbelts to keep ourselves alive. Anyway, now your state probably requires you to wear a seatbelt, and you should be okay with that because it is the simplest thing you do every day. I know I sound like a personal injury lawyer, but nothing will save your life more than clicking that seatbelt. I don't know why I'm telling you that during a Home Alone video. I'm just telling you it's real.
We know that you're in there and that you're all alone. Be a good little fella now and open the door.
What?
A kid or someone is defending their house and someone is trying to come in, but they haven't come in yet. You have the right to defend your property with force. So generally the rule is no, you cannot defend property with force. So we got two issues going on. Number one, they're not actually in the house yet. You don't have to wait. A reasonable person could believe that they are about to come into the house. Why would a reasonable person believe that? Because they told you they're coming in. So you have a right to do that, but you generally cannot defend property with violence. So if I know that you're going to come into my house and rob everything, I'm still not allowed to set up a shotgun where if you open the door, boom, it blows you away because you robbed my house. You cannot defend property with serious physical violence, or threat of death. You cannot do that. However, Kevin's gonna argue that once you come in, it's not just my property you want, you're coming after me. And I am allowed to defend myself with strong acts of violence and vengeance.
And furious anger.
I am allowed to defend myself and take life if necessary if you're coming to take my life. So he would have a great defense to the lawsuit because he actually had reason to be scared. But if they were just coming after his property, then that little BB shooting them in sensitive places, not a good place to be. But I like his defense here. So now we got people being badly hurt, slipping on the stairs, but Kevin actually purposely put water so they would ice over on the stairs. Let's go piece by piece. If you live in a cold climate, you know that if you go to a business and they don't try to make sure that it's safe for you, you can sue them. Why? Because you're there for business. Someone trespasses on your property and they get hurt, they're gonna lose almost every time. The law is actually different for a trespasser than someone's being invited in for a business called a business invitee in many states. That's number one. But number two, what about here where you purposely iced your stairs to protect your property? You can't do that to protect property. You cannot hurt somebody to protect your property. But Kevin is a kid home alone protecting himself. And if that's what it takes to protect himself, he can do it. So we're at the point in the movie where the booby traps are everywhere and one of the people coming to rob the house gets hit with an iron that falls from up above. Can he sue Kevin for what could kill him, right? Or really bad injuries? You didn't really need to do that. So you're defending your property. You have a right to defend your property, but not with violence that could seriously injure or kill. But you have a right to defend yourself to avoid serious injury or death caused by someone else. So now we set up an iron to fall on somebody. Is that going too far? Well, the question is really going to be, is that reasonably necessary to defend yourself? So it's not that simple, right? If there are other ways you could defend yourself, this is what lawsuits are for. However, trespasser coming after a kid, you're pretty much in trouble because legally you have almost no rights. You're a trespasser and you're trying to hurt somebody. So that kid can get away with way more than an adult can get away with in a situation where someone's not trying to hurt them. And it doesn't matter what the person who's coming after you thinks they're going to do. It depends on what would a reasonable person believe you're going to do. So if you make me believe you're coming to hurt me, even if you're not, I'm allowed to act reasonably in my own defense. Can you put a flamethrower on someone's head because they're trying to break into your house? No, if you're just trying to defend your property. But if you're trying to protect your own life, it's going to come down to a question of, is there other reasonable steps you could take that were less severe? However, if that flamethrower is your best way to save your life and you're 8 years old home alone, I like your chances of that case not even making it to a jury. In all these Home Alone scenes, when you see Kevin set up booby traps. And people go, all right, but in a real world, he would get sued, right? He's trying to defend his life. Now, he had all day to go to the police station, but he's an 8-year-old. And a reasonable 8-year-old may not realize they can go to the police station. And you can go, you don't need a flamethrower, you don't need an iron to fall on someone. These things could kill people. Isn't that attempted murder? If you are defending yourself in a criminal context, you are allowed to do it. And in a civil context, you can't sue me because you tried to take my life and you don't like the way I defended myself, as long as I had a reasonable basis to believe you were coming to hurt me. Nothing's worse than watching movies with people who try to point out things you don't see and then you see them. Because Sean behind the camera is like, check it out, it's clearly a stunt double. And now anytime I watch Home Alone, I have to see a full-grown stunt double, which I never had to see before in my life. So be careful who you watch movies with. Who's going to be responsible for this if Kevin gets hurt? The parents left him home alone. Can't he sue them? Probably, unless they have parental immunity, which they probably don't. You hurt your kid, in theory, he could sue you. But he's the one who took the risk. Man, he's 8 years old trying to escape the house that was only dangerous because you left him home alone, allowing robbers to get to him, and you couldn't even find anybody you knew to go there and check on this kid. The police didn't show, so you had nobody show. What? When you left the country, everyone you ever knew in the world in this country that would care at all about you couldn't show up? Are you serious? I don't even think this movie's real. The wet bandits ruin the houses they rob. So who's responsible for that? I mean, if you have insurance, why should insurance have to pay because of a criminal act of somebody else? Here's the answer to that. You have insurance to protect you in case something like that happens. So your insurance company, they're gonna make money if they do their job right, because enough people are gonna contribute and buy insurance so that when this happens every once in a while, the insurance company, even when they pay you out, they make money. But does that mean the people who did it get off the hook? No, they're actually legally responsible responsible, not just criminally, but your insurance company can do what's called subrogation. They get to take your right to sue them. So your insurance company pays you for all the water damage done because these idiot burglars decided to do that. After that happens, they get to sue the burglar. Why don't the burglars get sued in real life? Because a lot of burglars don't have enough to sue them for, so it's not worth the insurance company's time. But your insurance company will have the same right to sue them for doing that damage once they pay the money as you would have. So if you're really, really wealthy and you're out there ruining homes and running water, you might not only go to prison, when you get out, you may have lost all your money as a result. So let's say Home Alone was based on a true story. It actually happened. Someone comes into my office, they go, hey, listen, the police are doing their job. People are going to prison. I want justice on my own. I want to control it. I don't want the prosecutor. I want you, the husband and wife law team. You said you're trial lawyers. Sue somebody. Look what they did to me. Who am I going after? Am I going after the police who didn't go check on the kid? Probably not. Am I suing the parents? Probably not, especially with the way it ended. Although if something bad had happened and it wasn't like the exact parents, if it was someone you had watching your child and they did this, I think there's a strong lawsuit there. The best lawsuit, believe it or not, is against the criminals who created all the problems, even though they got hurt. What's the problem? Got them for their responsibility. You got them for what they caused. You got them for the damage, but they probably have no money. They probably have no insurance. So you have a lawsuit on paper, but it's not worth the paper it's printed on. So that's the problem with actually holding them accountable civilly, meaning the money damages they caused. Listen, if you like this breakdown and you want to hear more from an actual trial lawyer, I see these people talking about law stuff all the time. Most of them never walked in a courtroom. They've never stood there. They never fought for anyone. If you'd like to hear more about what we do at the Husband Wife Law Team, if you have questions, comment. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and look right here or here, depending. You're gonna see YouTube saying to you, check out this video. YouTube's right. Check us out. Let us know more. Thank you for everything. See you next time.